My name's Steve Hill, I'm the Operations Director for the Bone Daddies Group. I suppose the vision, values and culture of Bone Daddies, it's been very simple from the start. We wanted to grow both a business and the actual team. We started off many moons ago now in sort of 2012 with one in Soho, and since then we've grown 3 different brands. Bone Daddies specifically, the arm bars, we've now got 7 and we've got 6 delivery sites as well. The culture is classically like a family, and I always cringe when anybody ever says businesses about families and so on, but it truly is. We care about both the guest and the team, and if you look after both of them, in theory, you have a thriving business. Since COVID-19 started, obviously every business got hit hard. At the very beginning, nobody had a clue what was going to happen. And all we said is that we just must protect the team as much as we can and protect the business, because if we don't have a business, we don't have a team. And if we don't have a team, we don't have a business. And that was it. And I think that'll be the one thing that stays in the business even after the pandemic's ended. We went from strong sales, we were in like-for-like growth, double digits in some places, and then suddenly the bottom fell out of the market. We were due to sign 3 new sites, probably 2 days before we actually went into it, and for whatever reason, we didn't sign at the time, so we got some breathing space. We sort of came out of it stronger. You just have to adapt. The delivery market was an awful lot stronger. At-home kits were a lot stronger. And then when we could open, we opened and traded very well. And then when we shut again, we shut them down. We became experts on opening and closing restaurants. And randomly, we were still looking at new sites. Delivery has always been a big part of the business. The at-home kits, we'd not done those before. And it was at a time where, how can you give more of your product to the guys at home that love you? Bone at Home was to give a different revenue stream. Most businesses will always say, you want to create more sales to make more profit. It wasn't actually the driving force. The reason why we wanted to create more sales is to create more job security, to give our team the sort of security that, do you know what, we're doing fine. We've got a great business, we've got a great team, you've still got your job. You don't need to worry about being in a job. If you deliver the greatest product that you can, people will buy more of it, and if people buy more of it, there'll be more hours, there's more pay. As it happened, the guests loved it, and it was a great success. And it's similar with the delivery-only kitchens as well. The aim was to get as many people off furlough as soon as we could, so that we could support ourselves and ultimately less strain on the government. I think they'll be around for a while, but it may probably go more special occasions, because you can only sell what people want. And at the moment, people want to be back in restaurants, so we're glad they are. We had to streamline the menus, but we were very nervous about taking too much off. For myself, there were many restaurants that I was looking forward to go to, and I knew what I was going to order before I even got there. So I thought that if we took too much off our menu, and then somebody arrived that had not been with us for ages, and that special item was gone, they'd leave disappointed. So there was a lot more sort of enhancement or tweaking, dish engineering, to try and make things better but simpler. The technology we've got in the kitchen allows us to do so. We still want a great product, we still want great ingredients, we just need to treat them as simply as we can. Being part of a community has always been a big thing for Bone Daddies. We see ourselves more of a sort of neighbourhood style restaurant. Although there's 7 restaurants in the brand, the last thing that we want to come across like is a chain. I think you have to respect the community that you're in. That community has enabled us to survive and has enabled us to keep on paying our team, keep paying our suppliers, keep paying the landlords. Big circle of life, and without them we'd be nothing. As soon as Freedom Day happened, we told the teams we weren't going to change anything. Let's see what happens, let's get more information, and then if we can back off some of the measures and maybe take away masks, we will do so. But let's not make a knee-jerk reaction. Decided to go with QSR was quite simple really. It works. I'd used the system before, and it does exactly what it's meant to. It just makes it simpler. Being an expediter sort of back in the day, it's a very stressful role, coordinating how many sections you've got in the kitchen and making sure all the dishes come up at the same time. It's a tough job, and it requires total concentration. By fitting QSR, you almost free up that person, and that person, rather than coordinating the tickets, they can concentrate on quality. People are a little bit nervous at first, and then if you ever thought about taking it away, your chefs would be an uproar. It just makes it slicker, that to get 3 stations all putting the dish on the counter at the same time, better quality. The hotter or colder, if it's a cold dish, they're getting a better quality plate of food. The data that you get from the system is vast. A lot of it is around timing. Ramen historically is, if you're to eat it in Japan, You're in, out, eat it, gone. It's fuel. So we got fixated on giving a 10-minute ramen. So you come in, you order, you get your food and drink within 10 minutes. The problem with our technology is you don't necessarily know whether it's a real 10 minutes or not. And we were kind of sort of guessing. So we had a feel that we were getting better and we're being faster and getting a better product to the table. But we didn't really know. And the pinch points were always the sort of coordination and getting everybody to work at the same time. So the solution was QSR for that reason, that it sped things up. So quite comfortably, I can tell you that the average time for a bowl of ramen is 4 minutes. And I know that factually. I can work it out for the day, I can work it out for the week, I could even do the month. I can do by day shift, mid shift. There's so much data, and it helps with training as well. So if I'm a great chef and I can cook a bowl in 4 minutes, and you're an average chef and you can cook it in 6 minutes, well, you're 2 minutes slower, obviously. So how can I help you become better? So it really enables you to benchmark your kitchen team. But the biggest one, the guest gets a better bowl of food. The technology has helped lower stress in the kitchen because there's not that individual that's stressing, that's shouting constantly and trying to coordinate it. It's helped with the other chefs not having to go, what was table 20, or repeating it, because everything's on the screen and it allows you to work in a far more calm sense. Who doesn't like a list? And basically it's a list of things you need to do and you just work your way through it methodically. You don't lose tickets, you don't lose orders. It's very precise and it relaxes people. We're here at Victoria and you can see down the line, nice simple setup. The bottom one here is the salad section. The next screen is noodles. Slightly lower down, you've got the main screen, which sees everything at once, and then you've got fry down the bottom. To build a poke is relatively quick, but to fry a chicken is a little bit longer. So the chicken will hit the screen there first, then it'll hit here. The timings mirror it together, so they come together and then boom, up on the pass. And it literally is that simple, and all the work is done for you. The screen that we've got there, which is slightly lower, that's just full visibility of all the tickets. So the more senior chef is generally on noodles, because that's the sort of high impact section. They can see everything that's on in the kitchen at that moment in time. So if there's a problem or a waiter comes over and wants to know something or wants to make an adjustment or they've forgotten about an allergy, they can manually adjust it. The screens have colours as well, so you know when tickets go in long, so they go yellow, which is obviously a little bit bad, red is really bad. We have purple on there for its an allergy. So it's very visual. Timings, since putting the system in, has improved massively. It's always quite tricky to measure something when you've got no technology, but we know we are faster from the bills. So I know how long a ticket would be open, and then it was closed off on the system. So that we know is probably just over 10 minutes is shortened. In the actual kitchen, I know that the dinner session is the quicker session. So I know that the average time is 7 minutes 33. I know that at lunch, it's more like 8 minutes 21, I think it is. And then somewhere in the middle is the sort of average. It's helped benchmark what it should be. And then because everything's timed and linked together, it really sort of encourages people to do it right. So when you pull the report, you can see that a ramen should be made in 4 minutes. And if it's going shorter or longer, you can adjust in it. It might be to the chef, it might be the session, it might be overstaffed, understaffed, it might need more training. So it's really sort of helped focus the team around being more efficient, that more than ever we manage the bottom line to make sure that we have cash, ultimately. The data's there from every shift that you've ever worked since you had the system. So you can see how your kitchen teams with greater retention has got better, and what does great look like. If we take it as the average is 8 minutes for a dish total, anything that sits outside of that, we know there's some sort of problem. So it gets you to that level of detail. It's very helpful when you just open a business. So the way we do it is we take all the timings from the master and we just import it into a new site. So it's a real interesting sort of starting point where the teams are and how far they're off. And then it's nice to see them get better. Things like delivery times, it shaves 2 to 3 minutes off your delivery times just by having an integrated system. If you've got 5 portions of wings on 5 different tables, you could probably do those 5 dishes at the same time. So it's another way it helps speed things up for you. Menu development, it helps as well, how you load the section. So we know that People like things that are fried. We could put another fried item on, but I know we're just about at capacity. The data tells me that there's not much more that section can do without fundamentally changing it, that I'd have to put more kit into it or more people into it. And sometimes some of the businesses which are relatively small, there's no more space. So I know I can't do it. So it's pointless developing a dish that wouldn't work, and you know it wouldn't work from the data you've got, that you're just going to execute badly. So it probably stops you from making bad decisions as well. Within the reports, there's some cook time variances, which again, depending if you're into that sort of thing, is quite fascinating. If you've got a dish that should take 5 minutes, you can see whether the people are quicker or slower than it. So if there's a variance on it and it's a regular variance, then it allows you to go back and look at that dish, that there's something changed. Have you changed the product, or are they doing something different, or are they doing a shortcut, or is there a better way of doing it? So it just allows you to look at all the dishes in such a way and just see if there's any problems. It just takes away all the little bits of error. I don't have to physically be on every single shift. I can get a flavour of what's happening in the restaurant by just looking through some data. Table turns are a big thing in any restaurants, and more so now as we're coming out of the sort of pandemic, that everybody wants to get back to full capacity and they want to get more people in and more people out as quick as they can. What QSR does, it shortens the time that you steal from the guest. If you're taking longer to cook their food, you're stealing their valuable time, and there's nothing more precious to people. So it allows you to cook things in the right way. So it's not too quick, it's not too long. So they know they're going to get a quality item, but it's not taking more of their time than it should. If the two of us were out and we both had 2 dishes, there's nothing worse than one of you sat there without food and the other waiting. So it just brings the experience together, and it helps with table turns, that people can come, have a great experience, not feel rushed, but the business wins and so does the guest. They're here for the right amount of time, and for the business, they're here for just the right amount of time, and then we can get more people in. The classic one is when you're paying bills. So if your food takes too long and it takes too long to pay your bill, there are 2 things that really wind the guest up, and QSR solves one of those. Historically, our table turns were just under an hour, probably around 52, 53 minutes, and then it's allowed us to move that to more like 43 minutes. So it's quite a big shift, but the important bit, it's not actually taking any time away from the guest. It's helped us that the dwell time is shorter, and the guest feels like they're getting sharper service. Within the system, you can even monitor how long your tickets are going. I was looking at a report the other day, and the last option on ticket times is between 20 minutes and 99 minutes for when it's closed off. And we had 40% that sat in that bracket. So immediately I was in massive panic mode. But then you go looking for it, and then you try to understand what's going on. It turned out it was all the tickets at the end of the night. So the teams were getting lazy. So instead of bumping items off, they were just almost going back to the old ways of just sending it out manually, which is obviously not what it's designed for. So one, it skewed all the data. The data allowed us to go, no, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. We only operate in the right way. So it allowed to put it back in, because we monitor so many different things that's all connected, that if people aren't doing exactly what they should do 100% of the time, it causes other problems. So the panic was put to one side. But it's nice to work out where that sweet spot is, because ideally we want everything under 10 minutes. So then you go off chasing the 100%. You're never going to be perfect, but it's just, as long as you're better tomorrow than you are today, I'm a happy guy. The beauty of the system is it watches when nobody's watching. So it all links together to give you a perfect picture of how that business is performing. It's more efficient, it's better quality, and there's less stress. The future, we want to get back to where we were in terms of sales. That's the biggest goal. So 2019, we were in double-digit growth in some places, growth across the estate. The world was good. We were sort of kings of the universe, if you like. So new sites, 100%. We've got some delivery-only sites. Some of those will flip over. I think they've enabled us to test the market. So Canary Wharf, we've got a great delivery kitchen that is doing fantastic already, and Canary Wharf is not back up to full power. So one of the challenges there is that we're nearly at capacity for the venue that we've got. So how can we do more volume? So one of the solutions is we're going to have to fit a delivery-only QSR system. We're trading well again, not as well as 19, but we're getting there. So yeah, long may it continue.